All right, cool. Hey, good morning, Jordan Thomas. Actually, good afternoon. I wanted to come to you to talk to a little bit about running motivation. I ended up posing a question to my Instagram group and just wanted to find out like what was the biggest difficulty that you are facing right now when it comes to running. And two things really became abundantly clear. One is a group of people that are just having trouble getting out the door. And then there's another group of people that are having trouble with running in cold weather. Well, I have good news for you on both of those tips to run in cold weather that I make available for you who are watching today. And then when it comes to running motivation, I want to break down a few different things that'll help you get out the door and be able to get some minutes on your body. At the end of the day, movement is certainly a blessing. And so I don't want the things that can kind of get in the way of a good run to stop you from getting out for a run. I've got a new mic set up. So the way I look at motivation really is about habit forming. And one of the things that I was able to learn from research off of three key things is motivation, ability, and a prompt. And motivation are just going to be the types of activities that you're motivated to do. So when it comes to running, my guess is if you're watching this, then you want to be able to run. The next thing is the ability. So can you make things as small as possible so that you're able to be successful and come back to it? And then P, being prompt, what are the things that you can do to make sure you can link your running to another activity to make sure that you come back to it? So let's break down all three of those pieces. Starting with motivation. One of the biggest hangups I think that a lot of people run into when it comes to running is thinking about their end goal too much at the beginning of a process, a plan, just trying to get out the door. And so one of the things I want you to think about when it comes to motivation and making sure that you're doing activities that make sense for you. Right now, in a lot of the Northern Hemisphere, it's getting cold outside. So if you have goals, aspirations, and trying a lot of resistance in front of you, and let's not forget that there's certainly a pandemic going on. And so when it comes to just being able to be motivated to get out there for a run, one of the things that's been helpful to me is to put some part of structure in place. And so what I ended up doing, water, I set a time goal for what it is that I want to get done in terms of a run. Being able to think about, hey, let me just complete a 10, a 15, 20-minute run, to me feels as good as when I was setting up for a 10-mile run or getting ready for a race, because the stimulus is different. Like I just appreciate the fact that movement is a blessing, and I want to be out there on my feet. One of the other things that can help you get out the door when it comes to motivation is getting in the way of you getting out the door. Is it something like being able to set your clothes out the morning before or after, or afternoon or evening time, if that's the time that you choose to run? Is it that you're less motivated after a longer day? Maybe you need to look at a morning run. Is running in the morning too hectic for you because of the way that your work schedule is set up? Perhaps you should look at working out in the evening. Being able to work through like a series of things and being open to trying some things out will help in terms of putting a structure in place that will help you figure out some ideas that you can have in terms of just the thing raining. You're going to think about which race today. And so one of the things that I would say to somebody just getting out the door, I would say look at what it is that you're having to try and do on the other side of the door that may be holding you back. If you think that a 6-mile run, for example, is too much and that's giving you additional anxiety or stress, your ability to complete that, be able to run through that, then what about if you thought about consistently do, and then maybe like say on the weekend where you have a little bit more flexibility, kids already if you have kids, then you can set up someone to watch them. If you're in a situation where your work schedule is a little bit more free, you can wake up a little later and be able to get that time in. Now you're not underneath that same time constraint. And so now you have a better opportunity to get that run in. So one of the things that I would also say is for those of you that are maybe newer to running and just want to be able to figure out like how can I, one of the first things you want to be able to do is just get used to setting out your clothes, putting on your shoes. I don't think that starting with a 20-minute run is probably the best thing for most people to do. And I don't even think necessarily putting a certain amount of days on a calendar a week to start off with is the right thing to do. I think in a lot of instances, committing to a day a week for a few minutes in which you're going to walk and a few minutes that you're going to run is a far better way to gain some momentum over a period of time. And then say a month, a few weeks down the road, then you'll be in a position to say, you know what, I can definitely do 10 to 15 minutes for a run 2 to 3 days a week and feel really good about that. Now, the next thing is prompt. I talked earlier on about my morning process looks like in that I pray, I drink water, use the bathroom, and then I go for a run. I didn't just wake up one day and end up with that process. I tried out many different things over the years. I've been fortunate to running somewhat new to me, although I've been doing it for about 4 years, routine that works to do. And so that's the other piece that I would give to you in terms of thinking about how would you be most successful in being able to create basically a running habit. So by linking it to an activity that you already do, like drinking water, like if you want to work out during the middle of the day after your 11:30 a.m. meeting, immediately afterwards you want to get out the door. So maybe you're taking when your meeting is over, you can get out for that few minute run and get back. Now, the last piece, and it can feel a little hokey, it can feel a little corny, but end of the day, it's about what helps you get out the door, and that's celebrate. And so I'm a big believer in celebrating not only privately, but maybe hitting up like 1 or 2 people to say like, yo, like I finished a workout today, I felt really good, or even I felt a little bit crappy. And I think that to me is probably one of the bigger misses about not having group runs as readily available because we've got to be social distance. Here in California, they're putting in some additional restrictions in terms of stay-at-home orders. And so those prompts that you get from being around folks may not be there. And so this is where I think this can be a good opportunity to use social media. However, if you're not necessarily connected to someone that you feel comfortable with, or maybe just feel like it's too much pressure in terms of like posting about what it is you're doing in your process, hitting up 1 or 2 people can be amazingly rewarding. I hit up my guy Marv earlier this week about some workouts that he had put together for the squad. And I know that he puts in a lot of work and doing that. So really it served twofold. One, it gave me somebody to talk to about the work that I did, but it also helped him feel good about making sure that, hey, like where are they getting value? And so time that I encourage you where you able to meet and don't feel like social media. One of the reasons that I started was just so that digitally with folks. Fortunately, great. However, I feel like that communal at times is missing from a digital standpoint. And so that's why I like doing like the story type videos, like when my girl Danny came through, Crenshaw Reese, and being able to feature some of those folks that are out there constantly grinding. So now that we're in a situation where we necessarily can't meet in person, being able to get on a Zoom call or something like that certainly helps out. And it's done within kind of like a smaller group, so you don't feel like the pressure of how many people are following me or how many people are listening to me. I'm telling you, 1 or 2 people that you can talk to on a sort of regular basis can work in your favor a great deal. So that's pretty much going to do it for me. I'm not sure how many people are here. If anybody that I got through Instagram were really amazing, and I wanted to spend some time talking with you, and I wanted to be able to do it in a situation where I could also test out some new gear. So let me know what questions you have in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas, peace.